Hello from Singapore. I am going to be flying Singapore's 737-800 over to Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon in Vietnam. I'm taking advantage of some of this newer features that we're seeing for flight sims, such as the ability to walk around the aircraft on FS Realistic in first person mode. So if you really want to go through all the intricacies of pre-flight, one of them has to be an external inspection of the aircraft. So it's a nice little addition. I really like it. It's very creative. So let's get back into the flight deck. Okay, so here we are. If you missed the news, on November 27, PMDG made the second update to the Universal Flight Tablet, and one of the best features on the update is this being able to import the flight plan directly from SimBrief. So we're just gonna go from pretty much from zero right now, just for anybody who missed the news, anybody who hasn't used it yet. So I'm gonna request SimBrief data, and it's gonna load my flight from here in Singapore over to Ho Chi Minh City. We can get our current conditions here. And an idea of what's going on over in Saigon. Okay, so going over again the new feature that I really like about this. We go to SimBrief, our flight's already there, so now we have it loaded. We haven't selected it to fully load into the FMC, but now we have the preview of the flight here. I can set my payload according to the payload I specified on SimBrief, and also the block fuel that we're going to need. So now both are set. I can clear the messages. I still need to select the route, so I gotta hit select route and let it load. A huge time saver. There is no need to input numbers during this part of the pre-flight. It definitely saves a lot of time. And I still cross-check everything, of course, but it's definitely a time saver. And now we can activate. Okay. I want to do an external view real quick. Okay, we're still using the same runways. The wind was a little bit variable, but right now all the aircraft are landing and taking off on runway on the three runway 2s. So we're going to 02 left for our takeoff. It's the closest one to us, so we're going to use that one. And SimBrief has specified stars and SIDS for this flight. So we're gonna go to our OFP. So we are using SID Victor Mike Romeo 5 Echo. So we'll look for it here. There it is. Execute. Ho Chi Minh City has us at runway 7, right? Using star, Bravo, India, Tango, India, Sierra to Golf. And there it is. Transitioning. Tango, Romeo, November. And then we'll make sure there is complete continuity here with the route. Yep, all set. So you can see how I'm stressing. It's a big time saver to be able to load the information like that. We're also going to load our performance data. So while it does that, I'm going to go to our performance tool here. And we want to get an optimal takeoff out of Singapore. Singapore being so close to the equator is pretty much rainy, or not rainy, but the temperature doesn't change much. Right now it's 27 degrees Celsius, early morning still. I'm gonna input my aircraft's weight and the current weather. I was looking to see if they would change us to runway 20 center because of the wind, but we're still taking off and the wind's gonna give us a little tailwind of about 4 knots. But that should be okay. So with this information, we'll be able to calculate the parameters here. So we'll go ahead and load this. N1 limitation. Assume the temperature is 5.2. Takeoff mode, TO, flaps 5. And let's see if the numbers match. 141, 143, 147, 141, 143, 147. Cross-checked. So we're good to go here. I want to also display our airport information. Now let's get to airport. Let's see. And here is Singapore, here's where we are. And like I said, our closest runway is to Lima, to left. And that's where we'll be taxiing over to. And we can also zoom in here to the very similar map mode to show you where we are. And the second big feature was anytime I have a change in my flight plan, this magenta lines will change accordingly. That was not previously available on the tablet. And I mentioned on my wish list is I want to not just have this north orientation on my map. I wouldn't mind also having an aircraft orientation option, and I'm sure that's going to be something relatively easy for them to develop, because they did have it on the original 737 or the original Boeing EFB that they had on the P3D 737, 777 and 747. Well, on the 777 because the 747 has its own moving map integrated. Okay, so we'll continue our prep here. Check the speed warning real quick. Tango Sierra 566. Yeah, it's just 240. Gotta make that correction and we'll be okay. Looks like there's a very long altitude restriction on the way into Ho Chi Minh City. The good thing about this restriction, it'll give us plenty of time to slow down and get configured. As many of you know, speed management and descent management you just can't rely on VNAV to do it for you. You have to monitor and make adjustments with the speed breaker, for example. Okay. Also want to get our winds aloft based on the latest forecast. We'll go ahead and load. And we'll also get our descent forecast. Check our speeds here, make sure everything looks normal. We're going up to 370 and we should be able to step to 390 later in the flight. It's should be a 90-minute flight. Yeah, so in about 200 nautical miles we'll get to 390. During departure, there's a 2,000 foot restriction for 8.4 miles. So that one we gotta keep in mind. And the speed will be 250 during that restriction. And I'm also gonna go ahead and fire up the APU. And our trim will be 471, so we said that before as we go over the checklists. So I'm gonna go ahead and confirm the speeds we provided for departure. Get our 147 here on the MCP. .370. Okay. And let's also calibrate our altimeter to HPA, but also to the current altitude. And that has us at 1010. Okay, so we'll do our flows and get out of here. Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen tested 100%. Navigation, transfer, and display switches. Normal, auto. Window heat on. Pressurization mode selector, normal, auto. There shouldn't be too much of an altitude difference between here and Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. So we put 100 here for landing. For flight instruments, initial heading 023, current altimeter 1010, and the parking brake is set. Confirming star levers are cut off. Pre-flight checklist complete. For before start checklist, flight deck door is closed and locked. Fuel pumps are on. And we'll verify fuel in center. Passenger signs are on. Windows are locked. MCP V2147 heading 023. Altitude 370. Speeds on FMC 141, 143, 147. On tablet 141, 143, 147. Cross-checked and verified. The CDU pre-flight is completed. Rotor aileron trim is free and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing is completed. Anti-collision lights on. Now we're switching over to APU source. And we'll connect our tug and get on our way.
cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We've been cleared for pushback and start straight back.
Roger that. Ready for push straight back. Release the brakes, please.
Brakes released.
Brakes released. Here we go. Pushback complete. Parking brake set.
Brakes set.
Steering pin is pulled. Watch for the salute and release from guidance on your right. Have a good flight.
Before taxi, generators on. Probe heat on, anti-ice off. Isolation valve set to auto. Start switches continuous. Recall checked. Auto brake set to RTO. Start levers idle detent. Flight controls checked. Ground equipment is clear left, clear right. Flaps 5.
Singapore ground Singapore 738 with Yankee request taxi for takeoff departing straight out.
Singapore 738 taxi to and hold short of runway 02 right via taxiway Quebec Tree, Papa, Tango, Juliet, Juliet 12, Juliet 10, Bravo Golf, Alpha, Alpha 11. Contact tower on 1 tree 1.4 when ready.
Singapore ground Singapore 738 would prefer runway 02 left.
Singapore 738 taxi to and hold short of runway 02 left via taxiway Quebec Victor Victor 6 Whiskey Sierra Charlie 2 Whiskey 10. Contact tower on 118.25 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 02 left using taxiway Quebec Victor Victor 6 Whiskey Sierra Charlie 2 Whiskey 10 Singapore 738.
So our arrival traffic is already landing on runway 20. I noticed, I mentioned earlier, we had a 4 knot tailwind with the current assigned runway. So they'll probably be changing it over, but we're still going to take off on runway 2. Well, I wanted to pass that Max, but I think he had the same idea I did, so we'll see how we do here. Sometimes the AI taxis way too slow. So I'll just switch over to the other lane again and pass him.
Singapore Tower, Singapore 738 ready at runway 02 left straight out departure.
Singapore 738, hold short runway 02 left. Traffic is Airbus on the runway.
Hold short runway 02 left Singapore 738.
Singapore Tower, Singapore 850 heavy, ready for departure runway 02 center IFR to Bayan. Singapore 850 heavy, altimeter 29er, decimal 83, wind 210 F4. Cleared for takeoff runway 02 center. Cleared for takeoff runway 02 center, Singapore 850 heavy. Singapore 738 altimeter 29er, decimal 83, wind 210 F4. Straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 02 left.
Cleared for takeoff runway 02 left Singapore 738.
Singapore Tower, Singapore 632 heavy, ready for IFR departure runway 02 center. Singapore 632 heavy, hold short runway 02 center. Traffic is Airbus on the runway. Hold short runway 02 center, Singapore 632 heavy.
80 knots.
Check. I thought they had fixed a bump on the runway. I guess not.
V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Singapore 632
Gear up.
heavy, line up and wait.
Flaps 1.
Singapore 850 heavy contact. Singapore. Departure on 120 decimal tree. Good day.
Flaps up.
120 decimal tree. Singapore 850 heavy. Singapore 7 tree 8, leaving my airspace frequency change approved. Singapore 6 tree 2 heavy altimeter 29er decimal 8 tree wind 210 F4. Cleared for takeoff runway 02 center.
Singapore Tower Singapore 7 tree 8 frequency change.
I completely forgot the 2,000 foot altitude restriction, but we're gonna keep climbing. Sorry for that. After takeoff checklist, engine bleeds on, tax auto, landing gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist complete. (10,000 feet, lights off). Okay, we'll go ahead and engage our autopilot. VNAV, LNAV, Command A. Okay, 6 minutes airborne. 624 nautical miles to go until Ho Chi Minh City. And as I mentioned, we were expecting about 90 minutes in the air, which is about the same time that we have remaining right now. Once descent is underway, I will resume the video, so we'll see you then. About to pass 22,000 feet on our way down to Saigon. Our arrival weather has variable winds at 3 knots, fuel clouds at 2,000, scattered 5,000, 27 degrees Celsius, altimeter 1012. Okay, on the airfield map, we are still scheduled to land on runway 7 right.
Climb and maintain 3,000 feet, Piper 918.
So with the landing in runway 7 right, we need to park in the international passenger terminal, which is this one on the eastern end. So we'll probably exit on Sierra 3 and get us lined up with the terminal. Gonna set the auto brake to 3 and we'll do our landing performance calculation now. So we'll do flaps 30, packs on, anti-ice off, normal reverse, auto brake 3, and 5 knots on the VREF, and the current weather. That will have us with a VREF of 150, using 60% of the runway, which will get us to where we want to exit pretty much. So we'll enter the same VREF here in the FMC and also get our frequency for our landing. So we already said the landing altitude should read 100. The actual altitude is 87, so that matches. Recall checked. Auto brake is set to 3. VREF confirmed 155. Minimums confirmed 200. And we discussed the approach already. Descent checklist complete. I'm thinking this star is drawn for heavy traffic and the sequencing that comes with it, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim it a little bit because I don't see a lot of traffic ahead of us. We're just gonna make straight into the runway. And with that, I'll just start adding some drag. Well, 45 miles out. Now we don't need drag. We're just gonna do this vertical speed mode, this level change mode to 5,000. With plenty of time. And that'll get us to the airport a little quicker. We've been airborne 1 hour 24 minutes. Got 11 minutes to go.
Contact approach on 126.35. Good day.
Tower Singapore 738 is 40 miles southwest 8,000 feet with Echo to land.
Singapore 738 Tower. Altimeter 29.86, wind 268 at 4. Fly left downwind runway 25 left.
Okay, we have a new runway.
Make left traffic runway 25 left Singapore 738.
So let's go ahead and do a quick analysis. With 25 left, we're going to be actually going away from the terminal. I'm going to maintain I think I'm going to maintain auto brake 3. So we'll do 25 left. Yeah, same parameters. We'll go ahead and keep those. And let's just program 25 left on our landing. New frequency. And heading 250. Also gonna look at the chart. And what I mentioned earlier about the most recent update to the tablet is that once I enter my new runway, the flight path in the magenta lines automatically obeys the change, so you can crack the new flight path. It's very useful. So there is Ho Chi Minh City, which has grown quite a bit. I haven't been in Ho Chi Minh City since 2005, and even back then there was a construction boom beginning, but today I wouldn't recognize it. The city has grown quite a bit. So there are some of the major skyscrapers and other landmarks to show how big the city is now. Flaps 1. Flaps 5. Airport inside. I have control.
Tower Vietnam Airlines 1369er 12 miles east inbound ILS Whiskey runway 25 left approach. Vietnam Airlines 1369er Tower. Altimeter 29.88 wind calm cleared ILS Whiskey runway 25 left approach.
Gear down.
Vietjet 123 to the next taxiway.
Flaps
Cleared
10.
ILS Whiskey runway 25 left approach Vietnam Airlines 1369er. Vietjet 123 contact ground on 121.9er. Singapore 738 wind calm caution. The Airbus landing
Flaps
runway 25
15.
right. Cleared to land runway 25 left.
Clear to land runway 25 left Singapore 738.
121.9er Vietjet 123.
Well, now we have a tailwind. Okay, winds are calm now. Flaps 30. Landing check was complete. Continue.
Vietnam Airlines 1369er follow the aircraft on final. Wind calm caution. The Airbus landing runway 25 right. Cleared to land runway 25 left. Cleared to land runway 25 left Vietnam Airlines 1369er.
Approaching minimums. To minimums.
Landing.
Tower Vietnam Airlines 58112 miles east
100.
inbound ILS Whiskey runway 25 left approach.
50.
Vietnam Airlines 581 Tower. Altimeter 29.88 wind calm cleared ILS Whiskey runway 25 left approach.
Speed breakup.
Cleared ILS Whiskey
Reverse
runway
green.
25 left approach Vietnam Airlines 581.
Manual braking. $60 knots.
Singapore 738 exit runway when able.
Okay to clean up.
Singapore 738 contact ground on 121.9er.
121.9er for Singapore 738.
Taxi and hold short runway 25 left using taxiway Zulu for Sierra 5 Victor Sierra 1 Vietnam Airlines 118.
Okay, so here's the international terminal. So we're doing double Singapore service because Scoot, our affiliate, already sent the Neo here. But that's fine.
Vietnam Airlines 118 hold position caution. The Boeing 737 on the taxiway. Vietnam Airlines 118 continue taxi. Ground Vietnam Airlines 182 tree requesting pushback. Vietnam Airlines 182 tree pushback request accepted. Roger, Vietnam Airlines 118.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna park remote because that's already the domestic terminal. I don't see anything available on the international gates. So we'll just go ahead and find a spot here. Now double check one more time there are no gates available. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just go here.
Ground Vietnam Airlines 182 tree requesting the end of pushback. Vietnam Airlines 182 tree request to end pushback received. Ground Vietnam Airlines 182 tree with Echo ready to taxi IFR. Vietnam Airlines 182 tree taxi to and hold short of runway 25 left using taxiway Victor Sierra 1. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway 25 left via taxiway Victor Sierra 1 Vietnam Airlines 182 tree.
Okay, welcome to Ho Chi Minh City. Very good visibility on the approach today. And it took us about 90 minutes to get from Singapore to here, so we're just gonna prepare for our return to Singapore. But as far as the video goes, this is the end, and as always, thank you very much for watching. It's evening time here in the US, so good night from the Western Hemisphere, and good morning to everybody in Asia. Take care. Bye bye.